तत्रांकित प्रहार जातम मटगट च दधट दधट धो धो दम हम धि धम धम धम.
I have a feeling that Bharat Muni got the idea of Natyashastra from his kitchen. Imagine, where in the world? Rasa. So like that. Patra.
Krishna is that one balance very hard to strike. He's a warrior, he's also a romantic hero. The only true feminist is Krishna.
Why some people I met saying Parva is a fantastic piece of literature, but this is not our Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is history or mythology. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Brutally Honest. Last night, I watched something. I have seen many dance, drama, all kinds of performances, but I saw yesterday something which I think takes Indian art one step forward, especially in the world of theatre. I watched an interpretation of Mahabharata, the war of Kurukshetra, those 18 days war, and it's called 18 Days Dusk of an Era. Fantastic. I mean, speechless. Everybody who's here, they know it was mesmerizing. And we are very rich. India is very rich in terms of stories. There are so many millions of stories to tell. But we are a unique country which is also rich in many methods of storytelling. And what I liked is your choreography, costumes, the visual poetry you have created, the use of light and everything. It was like a total package. And you used every possible tool available to tell the story. And so beautifully it's come across, and everybody, brilliant job, all of you. Every single person, you are like so super talented. I wish you all the best. It's a 90-minute dance drama, or should I call it a ballet, or should I call it a Broadway? I don't know how to define it. But it had everything possible to express this complex story of Kurukshetra war. And it's been created by two young, very young people. In 10 seconds, you're going to see them. And they're called Sharat Prabhath and Bharat Prabhath. Sharat Prabhath and Bharat Prabhath come from a legacy. They come from the lineage of Haridas. Dasa tradition is basically the saintly Sant, Muni, Swami, jo tradition hai hamara. So they come from the legacy and lineage of Haridas. And Purandara Das, who was, they will tell you more, but I just to introduce them, he's known as the father of Carnatic music, who created some 475,000 songs. Amazing. So welcome Bharat and Sharat. Ravi Shankar ji called your father or grandfather, great grandfather.
Grandfather and his brothers.
Yeah, as father of dance and drama.
Yes.
You come from an unbroken chain of 5 generations of artists. 5 generations means almost 80 multiplied by 5, so almost 300-400 years of legacy. So
Yes,
you come
legacy.
from an unbroken chain of a family, unbroken chain, and you are involved in singing. You have created singers, dancers, musicians, percussionists, costume designers, light designers, all kinds of things, writers also, right?
Yeah.
And for 5 generations, your family started the first recording studio of Karnataka called
Yes.
Prabhat Studios, and that's why both of you are called Prabhat also.
Yes.
It's this thing. What I saw last night was mesmerizing. There's only one word. Why mesmerizing? The visual poetry, which is the visual aesthetics and beauty which is absent from today's life, you created. And who would have thought that in India you get to see the Kurukshetra war of Mahabharata with all kinds of modern technology, which is hydraulics and the wind technology and the smoke technology, the levitation and people coming from here, martial arts, dance. And it was so beautiful. As we are talking, I'll ask my editors to put pictures or videos. So for people to believe that it's possible in India, this kind of stuff I've seen only in abroad, in London or Broadway. But they work with millions and millions of dollars. Their productions are bigger than Hollywood productions.
Correct.
And you guys, I'm sure, with very limited resources, you must have done that. So first of all, commendable, incredible, and please accept my hearty congratulations and
Thank you.
my blessings and my love and my affection, whatever I have to give. So the show begins now. It's all yours. Please first tell us who you are, where are you coming from. I don't want to know more geography and the
Yeah, yeah,
demography and
yeah.
physicality. I want to know about your passion. Where is it coming from?
Right.
Because I have not seen anybody do something like this.
Thank you so much, first of all, for your kind words, and these words coming from a man like you, an artist, an amazing
First
knowledge
of
from
all,
you.
before people get confused, the one in yellow kurta is Sharat. The one in green kurta and long hair is
Bharat,
Bharat.
yeah. So, thank you so much for your kind words again. So, this where we come from, as you said, you mentioned about our legacy, but also you mentioned not physically, demographically. So, I would say this is etched in our souls because um, we lived in a joint family till like what it is in 97, 98. We were 64 of us living together under the same roof. This family,
How many?
64 of us.
So if one got lost in the evening, gone to
Nobody
play,
noticed
nobody
it.
would know.
And also we had more than 100 technicians coming and going
Yeah,
every day. It was
every
about
day.
150 to 200 people every day.
So we all ate our meals together. So every single individual was an artist or had an orientation towards that or inclined towards infrastructure development for art. So we were born amidst all this, and it was very organic for us to develop interest in it. And since our childhood, all that we heard were the stories of our ancestors. Ancestors as in Vyasa, Valmiki, and the rishis. So our grandmothers and her sisters and many other cousins, like elderly people, while they were feeding us, they told us Rama stories, Krishna stories, Shiva stories, and scriptures from Vedas, quotes from Vedas, and these things. So we were brought up in that way. So it was very organic for us to actually develop an affinity towards these things. And ever since we started learning music or dance or theater, every time what we thought was how we can bring our ancestral works, because there are too many people, a lot of companies and groups that are working on other subjects which are widely available and popular. We These ancestral works, they need more focus, because we have had very tough 1,000 years in our history. So we need to get all of that back, get it etched in our souls, and we thought that should be our mantra and objective in our life. And that's when we started working, and we both of us are trained in Kathak. I'm trained in Carnatic music, and I also perform Harikatha, which is a one-man theater where I sing, dance, act, talk to people, interact with people all at once. And I perform in English, in Kannada, and Sanskritam. I'm trying to do it in Sanskritam now. So just to give you a parallel, it's classical Michael Jackson. So
ಇಂದು ಮುಂದು ಯೋಚಿಸಿ ನುಡಿ ಬೃಂದಾರಕಾರನ ಸುತ ಇಂದು ಮುಂದು ಯೋಚಿಸಿ ನುಡಿ.
So this is our parampara. So this is where we come from, and even if we fight, we talk, we exchange. Everything we do is artistic. Everything we do is it revolves around these subjects.
Yeah, I saw. I also read in the newspapers. Amir Khan came for your show
Yes.
and he was praising. What did he take you out for dinner or not?
Yeah, we met him we had gone to his house. He was very warm, very kind. We spent quite a good time with him, talking about multiple things. We spoke about Iliad and Odyssey, about Homer, that literature, and also about Mahabharata, Ramayana. And he told us how he saw a combination of Ramayana and Mahabharata there in those scriptures. And then we spoke about a lot of other things. He was very warm and he appreciated a lot.
Yeah. So no, the reason I said that I mean he loved it. Everybody loved it. So you are playing Krishna and you are playing Arjun.
Yeah.
Arjun and Abhimanyu.
घर में ही हो आप लोग ना, so you are brothers.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're brothers.
Okay, and so how do you work? What's your style, brothers? How do you decide who will do what, and how does it work?
Basically, the soul of this entire thing is him. If we have to compare it to the modern era, he's the software and the hardware.
Okay.
So that's how we work. All the music, all the script, and the concept. Concept generally we discuss and we come up with the concept, and even the dance choreography, direction, and all of it. And more on music and the scripting and how it has to go, the screenplay wise, it's worked by him. And the parallels, how it has to come on stage. maybe a costume or the entry exit of any artist, the super effects, the special effects, whatever we want to get on stage, generally I take that up. That's what we discuss.
You design costumes?
I designed the costumes of this
Yes,
18
yes,
days.
for all our
So
productions.
yesterday I saw that there were a lot of influences from all around the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like for example, वो किसका था?
Red Indian.
डिम्बा का बेटा क्या नाम?
Ghatotkaч.
Ghatotkaч.
हाँ,
Red Indian.
Ghatotkaч का जो पूरा the people around him, his army, they were very influenced by either aboriginals.
Yeah. The whole idea is to get the globe together. Like we are from east and west. We have to meet together. Mahabharata it's a world phenomenon.
So what I liked about your show was that you have not restricted yourself to only Indian. You have mixed Bharatanatyam, Kathak also.
Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Bharatanatyam mostly, which is Bharatanatyam Karana is the most ancient.
What is the
art form.
difference between Bharatanatyam and Bharatanatyam?
Bharatanatyam is just a small, a very small infant which has come from Bharatanatyam, decoded by Dr. Padma Subramaniam, and I'm trained in Karanas. So all the temple structures that you see, all the sculptures that you see outside the temple, these were inspired by Karanas. So Natyashastra talks about Karanas. There are 108 Karanas which were decoded by Dr. Padma Subramaniam, and I've learned that art form.
Please explain to people who don't know what is Karna.
So so Karanas again, Nrittakaya Samayogat. Just a second.
Take your time.
Yeah. Hastapada Samaya. Okay, Karanas are Hastapada Samayoga Nrittasya Karanam Bhavet. So combination of hands, the upper body and the lower body. There are sthanakas, position. A lot of technicalities are there. But basically the Karanas are, you can call Karanas as mother. From that mother has come out Kathak. From that mother has come out Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Odissi, everything. Every art form, even folk art forms, because that is called Margi and Deshi. Margi is the classical art form. Deshi is the regional art forms. So folk also is included in the Natyashastra parampara. And Natya by itself doesn't mean dance.
Absolutely.
Natya is dance, theatre, music, everything.
Anything which is happening
Yes.
on Rangmanch is
Natya. That is what is brought in your wonderful, truthful movie Kashmir Files in the climax where he talks about Bharata Muni, Natyashastra. So even you have brought even Netflix in that. I very vividly remember.
Yeah.
So which is very, very true because any form of expression is Natya.
It's
So
a full science,
it's full. Yeah, it's a full
and I
science,
have a feeling that Bharat Muni got the idea of Natyashastra from his kitchen. Maybe his wife was asking him to do kitchen work and he got... Because imagine, we are in the world, Rasa. Now what has Rasa got to do with the art of entertainment, or performance art? So I said, Acha, he saw some juices and he said every color is different. So like that. Patra. Character is called Patra
Yes.
in Natyashastra.
Yes.
Patra means Bartan. This is Patra. Patra which contains,
yes.
maybe there's a metaphorical meaning, I don't know. Okay. So all these things, and Rangmanch, why Rangmanch, why color and the theatre put together. Nowhere there's no parallel to this in the world.
Yes.
So I thought that he picked up things from real life and maybe his wife was, but it's a joke and it's not, I don't know.
It's a joke.
Anyway, so let's come back to this. So Karna, you were telling me. But you also included Natyashastra in this
Mostly
Mahabharata.
Natyashastra because
What of Natyashastra?
everything about Natyashastra. So we have used different languages. If you observed, we have used original war chants and shushkaksharas like Dana Deko De Didi Didi Vimi. These things are not found. Tatrankita Prahara Jatam Matagata Chadadata Dadata Do Dam. You listen to Dagatita Dagatita Kritatita Dagatita or Takadimita Kajona Takadimita Kajona.
You use war chant. फिर से एक बार जरा बताओ आप दोनों लोग कर सकते हो साथ में?
Of course. So Tatrankita Prahara Jatam Matagata Chadadata Do Dam Ham Di Dam 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 Di Da 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 Di Da 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 Da. So these are all shushkaksharas that we have used. Dana Deko and many other
And this
shushkaksharas.
is Kathak style.
No, this is war chants that we have used.
Oh, okay.
And Kathak, again, we have 14 Nadindina, Dhaketara, these things we use, which are also, it's an amazing language by itself. But we have used Shushkaksharas, which are very rare. So these things are inspired by Natyashastra.
Okay.
And the movement vocabularies that we have used, everything is inspired by Natyashastra, taken from Natyashastra. The idea of a production is taken from Natyashastra, where we have not
Explain
restricted.
how.
Yeah. So we've not restricted ourselves just to one single form. Like for example, there are, I think a lot of people, they say if you take up one production, you have to restrict yourself to that one dance form. For example, Kathak. You know, I can't expect Ghatotkacha to come there and do Dhataka, Tunga, Dage, Diga. It doesn't suit. Or you can't expect a Shavari to do Tilana and Die. No. So we
And
have
with
to...
Ghatotkacha, you use martial arts also.
Yes,
that
yes,
form of dancing.
yes,
That
yes.
the
Yes.
flips and all those things.
Yeah.
The aerobics.
Mostly aerobics, yeah. Ghatotkacha, we've used many African movements and many folk movements. We've used some phrases from African
Yeah,
music also.
I could see that. Why have you mixed Sanskrit and English? Dialogues are in English,
Yeah.
and all the shlokas from Gita are in Sanskrit.
Yes, yes.
Why did you think of translating those shlokas in English or Hindi or some language which Indians can understand? Sanskrit, I don't think anybody understands these
Yeah.
days, you know.
Yeah.
So why? It must be a challenge for you.
Yeah, it was a huge challenge for us. But the idea also was to have authenticity. Like, you know, this is our personal belief that some classics should not be touched. You know, we didn't want to we didn't want to meddle with it. So Bhagavad Gita, of course, I have translated few shlokas of Bhagavad Gita to Kannada, but there is something lacking in that.
Is there Kannada also in the play?
There was Kannada also. We have used Ranna's Gada Yuddha. Bhima and
Matlab
Duryodhana.
Bhim's
Haan.
sequence.
That sequence we have used Ranna's Gada Yuddha, which
And
is
also
very
even
popular.
the entry of Ganesha, the Yakshagana.
Yakshagana.
That was brilliant, the Ganesha's entry. I love actually all the acts. They have 11 acts or what? How many? 11 scenes.
No, we have not kept account
Yeah,
of
some
that.
10 or 11. When I read your. So wonderful. I love the Ganesha's
Yeah.
thing. Okay, now I'll come to some deeper questions
Sure.
very soon.
Sure.
Music.
Music, yeah.
You compose music.
No, Sharat composed.
Oh, you compose
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So tell me something. Mahabharata is a very sensitive subject. I am making Parv, Dr.
Yes,
Atul Bhai
yes,
Rafa.
yes.
Already a lot of people have problems that I'm making it. A lot of people don't like it. Some
Yeah,
people like it. So I'm not making out of any religious reasons. I want to present it more like history.
Yeah.
So there are two interpretations. One is a historical presentation, or one is a mystical, with lot of fanfare around you, that kind of thing. You chose to do more mythological version.
Kavya, I would say.
Kavya.
Kavya.
So
yeah.
Kavya. But you played Krishna. But Krishna you have not touched. You have kept Krishna as is the way people visualize, people think, people understand in terms of lighting, costume,
Yeah.
mannerism, your acting, mind-blowing performance, one of the extraordinary performances. Okay, so weren't you thinking that here's an opportunity because we have a play to present these stories more human way, more historical way, more realistic way, or you wanted to create that magic? Were you aware of this, that
Yes.
there is a issue with Mahabharata? A lot of India
Yes.
is divided on Mahabharata.
Yes. So when we began, again the idea was to keep it as authentic as possible. So we have
Authentic to what? Veda Vyasa.
Vyasa.
Original Mahabharata.
Original
So
Mahabharata.
that is Bhandarkar's Boris.
Bori, and also I went through Ganguliji's, Sari Mohan Ganguliji's. That was very long back when I
Okay.
read Mahabharata for the first time. And we also had scholars like Dr. Bannanjay Govindacharya and another great dear friend of ours, Arjun Bharadwaj, who were there with us throughout the process. And we spoke to them, discussed to know the authenticity. Because after I did the script, I went to this...
Who wrote the script?
I wrote the script. So I went to the greatest scholars of our times. Like now he's no more. Dr. Bannanjay Govindacharya. I had around 100 questions. I asked him and I told him, this is what I've done. What do you think? So there were mixed reactions. He said, no, this is wrong. This is right. This is wrong. This is right. Then I told him, I will have to take my liberty as an artist. For example, Ganesha. There was no lipi. So they said, Ganesha itself is Prakshipta. Ganesha itself is not there in Mahabharata. So I said, it's okay.
How did you get that? Because I have not heard the story that Ganesha goes to Veda Vyasa.
Yes.
And then both of them have a long, interesting interaction, and that's how we got into the story.
Yeah,
that was your own imagination.
Yes, it was. No, that's there in the parampara. I mean, a lot of people even now believe Ganesha is the Lipikara of Mahabharata. So we wanted to take that. Initially, as you suggested in the beginning, that people have problems with Mahabharata. They question if it is Purana, is it just fairy
That
tale?
Karna is a very controversial character.
Karna, yes.
If you show Karna more as a subaltern, then the Savarnas have a problem.
Oh, yeah,
Then
yeah.
if you, it's very complicated.
Very complicated. That's what. See, the thing is, here, when it comes to facts, we didn't meddle with facts. As per Veda Vyasa. Some liberty we have taken in presentation. For example, Ganapati. Ganapati comes and questions Krishna. He questions Veda Vyasa. He says Krishna was wrong. Krishna cannot be an embodiment of dharma. How can you call Krishna as the embodiment of dharma? Then Veda Vyasa gets irritated. Then he realizes it's Vishwambhara, because the main rupa of Vishnu is Vishwambhara, which is an elephant-faced lord. So that is his rupa. So we wanted to bring that rupa there. And then he tells him, like, I am pretty sure that the coming days, in the coming years, our progeny, they're going to question all my deeds. And that is the reason we need to give answers. So this was the objective behind 18 days, to give answers. And you saw that every death had reasoning, every death had a reason there, and
I
answers.
love that Karna's
Yeah.
death with Krishna. But is it there in the original text? What
Yeah,
Krishna tells him?
Yes.
That I am killing you when you are helpless and you are weak, so that the world remembers you as a warrior with valor and courage. I have not
No,
read it
I mean,
anywhere.
see, the thing is, there are many people who have
Okay,
done
so
that
people
before.
don't know the context. So
Uh-huh.
when Karna is being actually
Killed,
it's
yeah.
a cheated, or it's,
Yeah.
it's a cheating,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when he is changing the wheel of his chariot, that's the time when
Arjuna
he's
shoots
being-
the Anjali Astra, yeah.
then Krishna has asked him to attack. But then Krishna, he says, Karna says in your play,
Uh-huh.
Karna says, but then you are stealing me of my
Vala.
Vala, and the name
and
that
the
I
people
would have,
will
yeah.
not remember me. They will think that I was beaten on the battleground like a weak person with no valor. He says, no, that's why we are killing you by
Yeah,
cheating,
yeah.
so that people know you were so powerful that we had
Yes.
to cheat. So this is I'm doing for you, Karna.
Correct.
So that is Krishna's favor to Karna.
Yes, of course.
It's
of course.
amazing. What a thought that I'm that's amazing. But
So-
that was your original thought.
No, that is there. That has.
But not in the original manuscript.
No, it is not there. In the
It's
original.
not-
The thing is, that's the
I
beauty
like
of-
that. See, I'll tell you what, I personally believe that why our ancestors decided to leave a lot of epics to Shruti and they did not write it.
yeah.
They could have written. Because perhaps they thought that dharma is not a static definition.
Yes.
True.
And therefore, it should have a scope for generations to come to keep adding. And that's why we have some 11,000, last count I heard, 11,000 versions of Mahabharata.
Mahabharata,
and
yeah,
different
yeah.
this thing. So everybody kept adding something according to their own moral systems.
True.
So that was one wonderful scene you did.
Thank you.
Now coming to Krishna. Okay. Now here your Krishna is God. He's divine, isn't it?
Yes.
And in fact, he's extraordinary. Even in
Yes.
God, you talk also about that he's godliness of Krishna. Or
Yes,
somewhere
yes,
there's a
yes,
dialogue
yes,
also.
yes.
Okay, now you people have seen Krishna in television serials, so they have that image and all that. But you added dance and all kinds of things, running, jumping,
Yes.
dancing, singing, dialogues and everything. It's a very difficult role. It's so difficult because you have to be a romantic hero.
Yeah.
You have to be a mischievous boy.
Yes.
You also have to be a philosopher.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be a scientist. And on top of that, you have to be warrior. And above all, you have to be God. So it's 7-8 characters mixed. And please tell me in detail how you worked on this character, your book, what you worked on as an actor.
Well, to be honest, I'm an ardent devotee of Lord Krishna. He's my favorite incarnation. So, as you said, Krishna is that one balance very hard to strike. He is Manusha and Ati Manusha. He's mundane, he's also divine. He is fluid, he's also rigid. He's a warrior, he's also a romantic hero. So, to strike that balance, it was very hard. But I don't know how it happened. We took 2 years to work on the concept, script, and music, everything. So in that process, all I did was I just wanted to pour out all my love for Krishna in this character, all my bhakti and my love for Krishna, I just wanted to just pour it everything in that character. And we thought, while people go back, they should go back with answers. While they go back, they should go back with Krishna Prema. Because that is what is Mahabharata. I mean, even if you try to humanize him, even then he's extraordinary. You know, just to compare Krishna with any other human, it's impossible. You know, as Osho says very beautifully, Krishna begins where Buddha ends.
True.
So even you can't compare Buddha also to Krishna. That was the kind of personality he was. So to bring that on stage, I need to, like, we were very clear that this man should not look like a warrior, but his act, his talk, everything should be like a warrior. He should also not look like a boy because he's also Gita Acharya. We have taken Mahabharata Krishna, not Bhagavata Krishna. So striking that balance was very difficult for me, and I don't know how it happened. I think it's years of sanskara
Because
and
you maintain that smile, everything, but your body language, okay, I don't know how you cultivate. Sometimes by instinct you do it, but the body language and the entire posturing. And what about you, Arjun? Okay, what is that one thing about Arjun? Arjun, I think, is a very misunderstood character because people have seen Arjun only with Tir and Kaman. Okay, but have you seen Prakash's play on Mahabharata?
we were
That
supposed
long
to,
8 hour, 9 hour long.
based on Parva. We were supposed to, but we couldn't. Somehow, every time they performed, we had
You must see it.
performances. Yeah.
But see, it's a totally Parva. I don't know if you've read it. It's,
I mean,
it's a
we
very.
read
It's about Kunti's point
Yeah,
of view,
yeah,
Draupadi's
yeah.
point of view, Gandhari's, which we never get to know, and brilliant dialogues between Arjuna and Draupadi.
Yeah,
Beautiful dialogue. And Draupadi loved Bhim more than she loved Arjuna. You know, I don't know if we.
Yeah, because Arjuna later on becomes very opportunistic. So
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. But she said my heart belongs to you because Bhim is the most innocent
Yes,
person.
yes.
And she knows that Bhim loved her the most.
Yes.
Out of all the brothers, Bhim's love for her was unconditional. What is that one or two trait you picked up of Arjuna to reflect?
Arjuna, when we were planning for that character here, Arjuna, the entry of Arjuna itself, he comes as a warrior. Like he's super confident that he's coming to the battlefield, and he has that pride that he is the best archer. Once he enters the war field, and when he sees the relatives, his grandfather, his kids, his grandson, his cousins, everyone are there opposite, and he's so confused. He's come there for war, but he's not able to fight. It's a common human dilemma. Always a human being is confused. It's Nara Narayana. So Arjuna is Nara and Krishna is Narayana. So then you are playing a second fiddle to the Krishna when you are on the character. So you need to be so subtle in that emotion of dilemma. You're a warrior. You're picking up the bow, but you can't. You don't have the strength. You're asking for the strength from Krishna by saying, I'm not ready to do this war. I'm not ready for the war. But Krishna is pumping in that energy. You go low and you come back. You go low, you come back. So because I was playing the other character also of Abhimanyu, who's son of Arjuna. So I wanted to show two different characters where Arjuna in the first half is very confident, but he goes low. Then Krishna pumps in the character, you come up, then you fight Bhishma with full of energy. But if you've observed, when Arjuna is shooting the arrow to Bhishma with Shikandi, his face is on the other side, which is crying. He's not ready to kill his own grandfather, even after the Gita. So he's still in dilemma. He never comes out of the dilemma at all.
But at Abhimanyu's killing, does he come?
Abhimanyu killing, we didn't bring Arjuna here, but when I played the Abhimanyu character, so I had to show the difference
That's
of...
the problem. But why didn't you bring in Arjuna when Abhimanyu is killed?
Arjuna
Because
was redirected, na?
I think he
That's
wasn't
the same
there.
guy.
no?
He wasn't
there. He
But he
was-
didn't come even after.
He came, and his body, he cries before the body of Abhimanyu.
Yeah,
Then
so that devastated. You
Devastated.
haven't included that.
We-
Because your story ended.
because we wanted to end that, and we wanted to bring in some feminine motherly.
Now coming to feminine. Mahabharata has some fantastic feminine character, female characters, whoever it is, even
Starting from
Hidamba,
Yeah.
Amba, whoever you say. So, but why did you give chance to feminine, female characters? I know Draupadi comes, but
Yeah,
for one dialogue,
yeah.
and they are like doing lip service. That is my only, not criticism, but my only
Observation,
feedback is
yeah.
observation. I wish you had included, because in a dance drama, it will make it one scene between Bhim or Draupadi, Arjun, Draupadi, or Krishna and Draupadi, and Draupadi has a right to ask a
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
Krishna, okay, and but you have done it with Subhadra.
Subhadra.
We've
Yeah.
got the motherly
Yeah.
this thing of
See, there are
that feminine.
Why?
two things. One,
You know, now these modern times, all the feminists will kill you. They'll say, why we are not there?
Yes, I have a. I say this. I mean, devoid of all feminist, whatever. Even I'm a. In a true spirit, I'm a feminist.
No,
but
I totally understand.
No,
And when you are performing, you
Yeah.
can pass off easily as
Yes.
Draupadi. You can perform
Yes.
Draupadi as well. No, why? Because your yin and yang
Yes,
is
yes,
very
yes.
profound.
Yes.
You can, from some angles, you look very
yes.
Nari roop, and from one side you look Purush roop, and that is only possible when artist has found his
Yes,
song,
the balance, yes.
song balance.
Yes.
You know, when you dance, you balance. In yoga also you balance.
True.
So that, but why not? Why didn't they tempt you? Such
No,
fantastic
Yes,
characters.
yes. I always
Sorry,
say
but
this.
with Kunti should have been sitting over there. Gandhari should have been sitting
Yeah.
on stage with him.
He's asking about the stage, not the audience.
Just no. So the reason is, see, I always say this: Mahabharata, the Purusha of Mahabharata, is Draupadi.
Yeah.
The only true feminist is Krishna, and that is the answer. One second thing, we had taken 18 days Mahabharata Kurukshetra war. There, the scope of female characters of Mahabharata was very limited.
But Draupadi came to the battlefield.
She did come.
And when Sanjay is narrating, then the queen is missing in that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a dialogue between Dhritarashtra and
Yeah, but
Sanjaya
still,
only. So generally, that's how it is. It's a dialogue between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra, and because we were dealing with Kurukshetra, and also we had this limitation of time, to bring those 18 days battle in 1.5 hours. It was a great challenge for us. So
And to
had we-
sustain such a complex show
Yes,
technologically for
yes,
90 minutes is not an
yes.
easy
And
job.
also, you started off with rasa. To have generally this Mahabharata of 18 days has Veera Rasa, Bhibhatsa. These are the two things.
What's the Veer Rasa and
Bhibhatsa.
Vibhats.
Yeah. So we have these two rasas, and to sustain those two rasas for such a long time is very difficult.
Yes, there are only two rasas in the war.
yeah,
And Karuna?
Karuna to a certain
Karuna is coming because of Vibhats.
yes.
Yeah.
Vibhats रस के कारण करुणा रस पैदा हो रहा है ना उसमें.
Yes, it's a result. It's a result of, because every rasa could be a result of another rasa. So knowing Shanta, actually according to Bharata Muni, Shanta is not a rasa. There are only 8 rasas according to Bharata Muni. Shanta should be a result of 8 rasas. So when you go back, and that's the reason we have Vishnu
Yeah,
Sahasranama
and
in the
Shanta is
end.
basically absence of all 8 rasas.
Yes.
So what you get like meditation, reaching
Yes.
the
True.
final.
Yeah.
That's why we ended with Vishnu Sahasranama.
We started with Bhagavad Gita. We ended with Vishnu Sahasranama. So when people go back, they need to see something very pleasant on their eyes. So that's the reason we used all those Indonesian, attire, and then we've used Karanas there in the end for Vishnu Sahasranama. And then when you walk back home, you're delighted. You take back this. So we didn't want people to go back like this. This happened, that happened.
Yeah.
So they went back smiling. So that was the intention. And also the main reason is we are doing a prequel to 18 Days, where all these female characters will be given at
You're
most-
planning something?
Yeah. We are doing a prequel to. We are on it already.
Oh, super, wonderful. My blessings for that. I would love to see that.
Yes,
But then
yes.
you must read Parva for that.
We have
If
read
you are
Parva.
dealing with women characters,
No, we have read. We have read.
tell me why some people in Karnataka I met, they were saying, yeah, Parva is a fantastic piece of literature, but this is not our Mahabharata. Why?
So you remember when I met you for the first time, you asked me, honestly tell me, what do you think? Should I bring Parva in the form
On
of
the
movie?
screen, yeah.
On the screen. I said, honestly, I don't think it would be accepted by the larger population, because the only reason it is for Buddhi Kosha. What he has written is for Buddhi Kosha, and Rasikas or Kanojas, they are not people who grasp things from their Buddhi, but from their Bhava Kosha. They're more emotional, and I think that is not just Karnataka. I think that is the reason anyone who has read Parva, they might say the same thing to you. because I mean
But
I love that
I didn't
work.
have any problems with Parva.
I love Parva.
And there's some 1,200 people watched it for 8 hours.
Hmm.
8 hours means you come in the
Morning.
morning at 9 o'clock and you leave at 7:30, 5 intervals, lunch break. And 8 hours, people were crying. People ran out of tissue papers and handkerchiefs and everything. And there was stunned silence. People didn't sneeze, cough. Normally, people do a lot. Didn't go to washroom. There was somebody who was drinking water from his Bisleri and suddenly stopped. Okay, it's making some noise. That was the impact. But then again, some people came out, and but the thing is, now here let's debate. Let's talk about
Yes,
this, okay?
yes.
Because when we are talking, we are all believers, and we believe in the great text of Mahabharata. Here is my question. Um, Hindu culture, Hindu traditions, Hindu philosophy is great because it always had a scope to reinterpret things.
True.
Okay? Not even once we ever had problems
Yes.
anybody reinterpreting things, looking at things. We have so many schools in Hinduism itself. Now Advaita and Dvaita both exist equally. They are not trying to destroy each other.
Yes.
Okay, one says there is duality, one says there is no duality. Ab bataiye aap. One says there is day, one says there is no night. There is night. One says that rituals is everything. One says rituals is the worst thing. It's all existing in our. All kinds of Hindus are there.
True.
What is it that recent? And I've also grown up in this country. It's not that I have come from outside. I don't understand. I understand Indian culture better than most of the people because I'm a traveler, so I know. Why is it that people have got so touchy? Tell me something. Why people don't like Parva? I'll tell you the honest reason. The people don't like Parva. No, not people. Some
people,
Some
yeah.
pundits of Mahabharata. They don't like it because it focuses on female characters.
Okay.
Okay? Your ears. देखो मैं जावेद अख्तर told me a beautiful thing. He write lyrics. तो मैं एक गाना हम लेके गए. Pritam was music. उसमें तो they two dummy lines ना. They put music directors put two dummy lines. So there were some lines. We have been listening to it for 2-3 months. Then finally went to Javed Akhtar. He changed those lines. We didn't like it. So he said, no, you're not liking them because they don't have good content or they're not good lines. You're not liking them because your ears have got used to
Yes,
listening to something. So आप इसको भी 10-15 बार गा लीजिए अभी आपको ये अच्छा लगने लगेगा. Then the third one I'll write, you won't like it. So people, you tell me
Conditioning.
why. So what are your objections with Parva? I want to know.
First of all, I loved Parva when I read it for the first time.
Why?
Because the interpretation is so new, so fresh. And in the 70s, 80s, when these things were very, very rare, Bhairappa ji had done that. So my only thing, I'm not saying, I'm speaking for the other people whom you think would object. It is not because it is female oriented, it is because it is very bold. For example, I'll just tell you, Surya, what our ancestors have told us, what the Pravachanakas, they tell us. She had a mantra, she did the Aditya mantra, and then Karna was born. But here we see a different interpretation to that, of Durvasa Muni, who is the Agni Rupa, Surya Rupa, and the Sparsha of his. There is wonderfully written by him. And how Pandu, in a way, convinces Kunti to, birth children with Vayu, with Indra and these people. So what I think is why people might object is because people are not conditioned to this. Everything has become so political now. If this is so sensitive that if you just touch it, it's like a beehive. If you just touch it with one single pin or throw a small pebble, everything will attack you. That is how the society is now currently. Had you done this in the 80s or the 90s or even before that,
I have grown up. Means such revolutionary ideas. I've seen people have on Ramayana, they have questioned it, they have questioned Mahabharata. But Bhairappa is not questioning Mahabharata. He's just looking at it from
different perspective.
He's seeing it from a feminine point of view.
Yes.
Okay, and therefore even Karna people have problems. Between Savarn and non-Savarn caste people have problems. Why their problem is
see,
in South?
South mein they don't know.
There's a
but yeah.
problem. Why?
No, generally people have this belief. See, that's what everything again boils down to the same thing. It's all political now. That is not how it is supposed to be, because there is no caste-based division. Again, I don't want to
Yeah,
talk
even
about
I know,
Varna.
I know, I know.
is
It
very
wasn't
sensitive.
a caste
Yeah.
thing at that
Yeah,
time. It
yeah.
was more like who was fitting where in what
Yeah,
role.
yeah.
It was more role playing than the caste
Yes,
playing. Yeah, now
yes.
it's all caste playing. There's no role playing.
Yes. So again, Karna, I think as per my understanding of Karna's character goes, people romanticize Karna's character, which is not needed. You call a spade a spade. As an artist, you should know the truth, and
Now I come to you this thing.
Yes.
In your play, you have taken a very strong stand about Karna.
Yes.
I mean, you have not budged to.
Yeah.
You are not caste conscious when you
Yes.
did Karna.
Yes.
Tell me more about it. Were you aware that there?
yes,
People
of
are very
course.
caste conscious when it comes
Of course
to
they
Karna.
are. Of course they are. And again, as I told you, it's very authentic. As per Vedavyasa's creation, as per Vedavyasa's work. I am nobody to question that. I am nobody to say, no, this has not happened, that has not happened. Who am I? Because I was not there. I don't know. I've read Mahabharata. I've spoken to scholars who have invested 60, 70 years of their lives in understanding the critical edition. So, knowing that, I understood that Karna has been, I don't know, unnecessarily given so much hype because of the caste. Of course, he also had merit, but he always relied on the excuses than his
In your
pratibha.
play, Krishna says you are a dharmi.
Yeah.
Point blank. Would
Yes,
say
of
something
course.
like
Yes,
that.
of course. See, I also, in the end, when Vyasa and Krishna play the game of dice,
Oh, I love that. That's your
Huh.
interpretation?
Yes.
Or it never happened?
it
like
never
that?
happened. So it is my
So
interpretation.
now, okay, so for people who don't know, in their play, I love the beginning and the conclusion. In the beginning, Narad Muni comes and questions
Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa and Ganapati.
Ganesha.
Sorry, Ganesh.
Ganesha.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
My apologies. Ganesha comes and because Narad generally goes from here to there.
yes.
And in the end, you have Krishna and Vedavyasa
Yes,
sitting
playing the
and
game of
playing
dice.
the game of dice and trying to find meaning out of that.
Yes. So here, I on purpose added this question and answer. I have omitted answer to Drona's death. When Vedavyasa asks him, but your answer to Drona's death is missing. So Krishna says, Udasina is my answer. I don't want to answer. Why? Because I'll tell you why here. I'm not bringing caste. Let me give the disclaimer. Drona was very well versed in Vedic knowledge, was very well versed in every form of knowledge, and also 64 kalas. He knew everything. Imagine there is someone who's very powerful, like let's say some very good, very powerful ruler or a leader. He has all the power to do something very good to the society. But he takes up arms, he takes up all negatives like Ravana, like Kamsa. Their tyranny cannot be handled. If he does bad to society, what would you call such a person? The same thing happened with Drona. He was supposed to be a teacher, Brahmin by profession. He was supposed to be a teacher. That's the reason the lyrics also are very, very well thought of.
What are the lyrics?
Swatmajasya nidhanavarta shravanena atmanashan prakalpayan.
It plays at
In
that
the play,
time.
in our play.
Can you sing it?
Yeah. Swatmajasya nidhanavarta shravanena atmanashan prakalpayan. So just by listening, hearing the news that his son died, he thought of committing suicide. Digbranto dronaha itastatah paridavati. He became Digbhranta. Janmanah brahmana swagunaihi brahmanadhamaha. By birth he is a brahmana, but when it comes to qualities and guna, he is brahmana adhama. Like he has not kept up to the qualities of a Brahmin. So there is no caste there. There's the quality. Swagunaihi brahmana adhama. So we brought that. So Krishna is very, very angry with Drona. He had all the power to do something good, but he didn't do it.
So Krishna, and I like that Krishna tells why one is
Yes,
dharmic, one is adharmi.
Yes.
But the way I understood Mahabharata, that the definition of dharma keeps changing
Yes.
with the situation and the context. But in this thing, Krishna has only one definition of dharma.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Dharma, again, see, dharma is the right thing for the majority at that given point. The same Krishna in his previous incarnation suffered so much as Rama.
But about Pitama also, he says that he was. It was adharma if he.
Yeah. See, Pitamaha, what Bhishma did, he thought his dharma was to save Hastinapura's throne. He had made a promise that he is going to remain a celibate. He had made a promise that he's going to take care of the throne. But he never thought about the public, general public. He never thought about Aryavarta. He never thought about the betterment of the society, the larger society. He didn't have the macro picture. So that is what Krishna says. You should have thought like that. With
Even
all the
Karna,
knowledge.
he recognizes Karna's greatness,
Yeah.
but he says it was your ploy, your idea to get Draupadi into
Yes, it
the
was
game.
Karna's idea.
So therefore you are a dharmi, and
Of course.
there is no way you can be celebrated.
Of course.
And just because you are a great warrior, I am giving you a little scope
Yes.
that I am not killing you from the front.
Yes.
So that people say you won't have. Brilliant, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Because, see, it is Karna who calls Draupadi a prostitute. It is Karna who tells Duryodhana that bring her to the court, disrobe her. It is Karna's idea. So such Karna should not be, such a character should not
And
be
Karna
celebrated
had that
only.
jealousy with
yes,
Draupadi
always.
because
Yes, of course, because she said, I'm not going to marry a Sutaputra. Again, these things, I see, only few selective things are taken from Mahabharata. They are popularized for political reasons. And we don't want to dwell in it. That's not our field. But some people, my only problem with interpretations nowadays is that they pick up this one point, they leave the entire background.
See, I'll tell you, one thing which surprises me that even the most educated people who have written Mahabharata and all, they are very happy with B.R. Chopra's interpretation of Mahabharata.
Of course.
Okay, all these people who call the people who, exactly the people who have a problem with Bharat. Now, if you know Mahabharata so much, what was the age of Krishna and Arjun at the time of Mahabharata?
I would say more than 70.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, I believe 65 plus Krishna
yeah.
and 55 plus Arjuna.
Yeah.
More or less, I think.
Same
this-
age, both of them.
Same age. Huh? So, between 55 and 70. But in all our films and TV serials, everywhere we have seen young 21, 20 years, just out of puberty, young, good looking boys and girls doing all those kind of things. Now, same people accept this. With this, they have no problems. They have problems only when the narrative is going wrong and not working according to their own this thing. Isn't it?
Yes, true. Because we don't want to see the human even on screen, right?
Yeah.
See, I want to watch a movie, I want to watch a theatre, I want to listen to music to escape reality.
So, Mahabharata is history or mythology? What is it?
Itihasam tatha kavyam puranam cha kalo bhuvi. It is a combination of itihasa, purana, kavya. It's a beautiful work. You can't just say it as history, you can't just say it as purana, it is kavya. It is a
Puran bhi hai,
combination.
kavya bhi hai, sab
And
kuch.
purana is purapi navam puranam.
What does that mean?
Purapi navam. It is ancient
And it's
and
new.
also new. That is purana. Something, purana is something that
So
is...
new, how is it new? It's new only when there are new interpretations given to it. How does it become
Yes,
new?
I'll tell you. Interpretations one. I'm for interpretations. Additionally, Purana is so relevant even today. That is why it is called Purana. It never dies. It never
Even
fades.
yours is an interpretation.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you did
yeah,
yesterday, it's not
yes.
true to Mahabharata.
It is true to Mahabharata.
True means events are true to Mahabharata.
Events are true, and
but then
reading between the lines have happened.
expressions of that. I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to discuss. Last two things. Number one, we'll come to two things I want to know: technology and music aspect of this. Technology will come to music in the end.
Yeah, technology
Okay.
is
Yeah, technology. You tell me what are the technologies you have used for this? A multimedia presentation, so huge.
So when we were young, I think I was 4 or 5 and he was 2 or 3 at that time, and we were doing Bhagavad Gita on our bed. We were dancing for Bhagavad Gita, this thing. So technically it was a childhood dream maybe, and we were hearing all the stories when my father was narrating, when my grandmother was. When we heard the stories, they explained like Krishna and Arjuna entered the war sequence, and when they were entering the war sequence, it was like a sun coming out of a cloud, and Krishna had a curl hair which was moving. The hair of Krishna was moving. How do you get this impact on stage?
Backlight.
So we created that, and we wanted bringing a chariot is easier, but to have the chariot on stage and then come out of it, dance, then move. There's a lot of limitation in that, and even with harness there'll be a lot of limitation. So we thought of a tool where we don't have harness. We just levitate it in the air. So if you see the screen, whatever we have has a sky background where clouds are going, and it splits open, and Krishna Arjuna enters from there. About 8
Levitated, That's
Levitated.
very strange. I mean, very nice. So they are like on a chariot. That's your interpretation?
Yeah, that's our interpretation. So we levitate, and we have given the effects of fan and smoke and everywhere, where the hair and the dress, everything is moving. It's like how we had envisioned that when we were kids. So we wanted to get that. So I got this levitation tool designed, and we both come
He
on.
only designed it, by the way, because we didn't find the right fit. So then he did some sketches. He said, "This is how we should make it," and then we found a.
But weren't you worried that mostly I've seen in Indian theatre, when too much of technology is involved, then some things definitely go wrong. But in your thing, not even was there any hiccups?
There were 4 trips of power last show.
Then how did you manage?
Backstage, we told on stage there was
There's
a Kurukshetra
Kurukshetra
going on happening backstage.
You know, he'll be on one side of the stage, I'll be on the other side of the stage. We'll be yelling, we'll be running around, doing this, doing that, handing everything. So
And then coming on stage and
yes,
performing at the same-
and with a grin on my
with a
face.
with like fresh as ever, Krishna. Okay, hats off both of. So how many technologies are involved? Different techniques of.
One is
theatre.
we have created this animation where in few places we have the 3D kind of a feeling.
So you have big screen.
Big screen, and you
in
can
fact,
see the,
Sanjay and Dhritarashtra, most of stuff happens.
Yes.
on
yeah,
stage.
Yes.
in Mahabharata, Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra are real.
Are live, and this
Are live.
happens.
It happens somewhere else. It's happening in Sanjaya's vision.
Oh, that was the idea. So
Yeah.
Yes, so
It was
we
reversed here.
reverse it.
Mahabharata is happening on stage, and those two are virtual.
Ah,
Sanjay and Dhritarashtra were
superb.
virtual. So we reversed it. That's
Very
two.
nice.
That's one. And when we thought about Ghatotkacha was a magician. He had Ashtasiddhi. He could fly, he could vanish, he could do a lot of other things. So in a magic show, you can do a lot of things. But in a dance performance, getting magic is a very difficult thing. So we wanted Ghatotkacha to appear. And how do we make him appear? So we have to create a fire. If we have to create fire, we have all this kapda there, the cloth, which is fire sensitive. So we created this cold fire thing, where cold fire comes and Ghatotkacha comes out of it. And once he is launched, he has to fly. He could fly. So you could see the aerial technique where the burst happened, Ghatotkacha just launches from nowhere in middle of stage. Then he'll come back to the stage. And also...
But Ghatotkacha episode, the magic, the highlight of your show, which everybody clapped and loved. The problem was that people who don't know, the problem is Ghatotkacha, the size.
Yeah.
How big was he? Described as
That's what Garima, one of the Ashtasiddhis is Garima. Anima and Garima. He could,
Any-
any size. He could change his form.
But you have shown the largest size of this.
Correct.
So how do you show Kauravas are little people? So what they have done is that they have used the human size Ghatotkacha and they got little kids,
As
these
Kauravas, yeah.
1.5, 2 feet young kids. I loved.
That
I
was
think
his
the
idea.
most creative idea.
That was his idea.
Technology, anybody. But the best idea, best theatre idea. Oh my God, I never thought about this, It's so amazing. I mean, you are creating VFX on theatre without using VFX. So visual effects.
Yes.
Okay, then what is the other technology?
If you've seen, we have created mapping around the auditorium. When Ghatotkacha scene starts, you have projections on the walls.
Yeah, that was good.
Because getting multiple people on stage is very difficult. So Ghatotkacha army was humongous. We wanted to get so many people. So we created that projection of it, where the entire army is coming and it's in the night time. Again, Drona gives an idea there to attack in the night, which was Adharma.
It was a night war.
It was
a night
Ghatotkacha.
war.
It was a night war. Right? That's the reason lighting was completely blue
Dark.
and violet.
It was completely dark and only blue lights were used. And that's the again Adharma of Drona, where he says attack in the night, all are sleeping. That's when Krishna and Bhima,
They summon.
they invoke, they summon Ghatotkacha. And when Ghatotkacha comes, his army comes first. It was a huge army, so we've created projection of it. And after a certain, you see everyone coming out of stage. And then you saw the aerial technique of silk and the Ghatotkacha army. Then the final, when Karna kills him, he's flying high and he's killed in the air. And there are a few stories where they say when Ghatotkacha fell down, he became so big, he killed many soldiers of Kauravas only with his death.
By falling on them.
Yes, by falling on them.
Just by falling on them.
Because of his size
Size.
and weight.
Yeah.
Even in his death, he wanted to create Dharma.
Okay, I'll come to the most interesting aspect later on. But one thing I want to know, these miracles, in today's times, if you want to tell this story, then either it will look like a fantastical story, it will never be history of India. Okay, and if you don't relate it with the history, then it just becomes a very not the real knowledge but intellectual knowledge. Today, everybody is talking about dharma, dharma, dharma without knowing. I ask everybody, okay, what is dharma? Then nobody knows. Second thing is we are Hindus and we have suddenly started calling ourselves Sanatanis. Now, Sanatani is a wrong usage of word. Sanati is a qualification. Sanati means eternalist, so you are saying I'm an eternalist, which is wrong. I mean, which is not, only Krishna can be Sanatani, we are not. Okay, the dharma we follow, which is the righteousness, the definition of righteousness which we follow is eternal. So the nature of dharma is Sanatani.
Yes.
That is a Hindu dharma.
Correct.
Okay, the dharma for righteousness for somebody living in Japan would be different. The righteousness would be different. I mean, every society has a right to define. So that is my view on that. That, do you think if, when I make this Parva, okay, history minus miracles, okay, are people going to kill me? What is going to happen?
Well,
And will there be an audience to accept that too?
as I told you, there is one, I think, very small population that would love that work. But a man who has the heart to do Kashmir Files can do anything.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है मैं किसी का faith देखो I am not an anti-faith person at all.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I also believe that faith can move mountains. I have no problems with this thing. I think when science ends, philosophy begins.
Yes.
Like you said, when Buddha ends, Krishna begins. Okay, though I don't agree with that statement of Osho.
I know, I am Buddha.
I don't agree with that because I mean Krishna is see, Buddha is only a philosopher.
Yes.
Krishna is philosopher come scientist.
Yes.
That is the big difference.
True.
So Krishna is whole.
Yes.
Okay, Buddha is a part of that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's very difficult to understand as a scientist because today's modern science also talks about the pattern. The karma theory is nothing but the scientific pattern theory. It says, I mean, people talk about past and future. What is past? Past is today. This is the past. Okay, whatever you've done in the last 40 minutes has become past. So what you say now, what vibrations it's going to create at this moment is your past. So your past will be bad if you're creating wrong vibrations. And if you are creating good vibrations, past will be good.
Correct.
Right. And when you are creating good vibrations, then whatever is coming, so all good is getting sucked to good vibrations and bad is getting sucked to bad vibration. It's as simple as that. All the bad people will go and join a mafia. They are not going to join your the parampara. Okay, and you are doing a good job. You are creating this wonderful, positive vibes. So your future will be good. So that I understand totally and I believe in that. I want to come to the last part of this podcast. Okay. A lot of people can jump in the air. A lot of people can create lighting. A lot of people can do great costumes. And a lot of people can do great popular music. But your music had lot of Shantras as well as Kautuhal in it. Kautuhal, the
Curiosity.
पहले तो कुछ एक which is your favorite piece from this thing गा के बताओ तो people understand what I'm talking about. How will people get a reference of what I'm talking about? So which is your most favorite, which was the most challenging piece in your this thing?
challenging?
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते
No, Bhagavad Gita was
easier.
straight. Yeah, easy.
तो meter इतना correct है उसका.
So I was held up in the making of the dialogue between Shakuni and Krishna. Where
that was interesting for you.
Mahabharata doesn't mention that Shakuni had a limp. He didn't limp. So, but we need to show crookedness on stage. How do you show crookedness on stage?
Hunchback
or some crookedness in
limping
with the eye and all that. Yeah. So we thought we'll make him limp. Then I was thinking, extremely intelligent.
But he was a brave king. Why would he limp?
No, I mean he was crooked. He was not.
Crooked, so
Yeah.
just
He was not straight.
Yeah. So, I thought while doing the music, I thought this should be some tal which people must get irritated with. They should not get the sum of it. So I thought I'll use 9.5 beats.
Or that's what it's. बताओ क्या?
So usme we have chromatic swaras also. Chromatic is not pleasant to the ears.
Yeah.
So that is adharma, where he's treading the path of adharma 9.5. There is no beat. Like you're not getting the sum. Like for example, takadime, takajadu, takadime, takajadu, takadime, takajadu, takadime, takajadu, tham. So you get it to the tada. Now I use a 9.5 beat. That half beat you will not get. So and it is also chromatics for us. So sappa padarisa ni da ma 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 ga re ga ma ga re re sa dhani sa sappa padarisa ni da ma ma ga re ga re sa dhani sa. So this is the background of Shakuni. Whenever Shakuni talks to Krishna, this is the chromatics swara that is coming. 9.5. When Krishna speaks.
It's a very rare 9.5.
Yeah.
I have not heard that in film industry.
But when Krishna speaks, he
You come back to some, you find some.
No, he treads the same path. You know, you're treading a path for victory. I am also going to tread the same path, but with the tune of dharma.
Brilliant. I didn't know that, man. That's shit. Who would have thought? I mean, if I brief my music director, maybe I can say, Shakuni, give me little abstract, little agitated beats.
Yeah.
But for Krishna, I'll say, come. मैंने
Yeah.
अभी बोला ना, and with Krishna I said you come back to some. Means because you see Krishna. So tell me how it goes.
So Krishna, there is no chromatic swara.
Without chromatic.
Without chromatic in the same
9.5.
9.5. So this
And
is
with him you have used chromatic. लोगों
yes.
को explain भी कर दो what is chromatic. People will know.
Chromatic is the like two swaras next to each other. Very not so pleasant. Sa re re ga ga. So these swaras. So for Shakuni I've used that tune. For Krishna I've used a raga, very beautiful raga called Ratipati Priya. Ratipati
It's a Carnatic
It's a Carnatic raga. Ratipati is Manmatha, who is the son of Krishna. Ratipati Priya. So this raga is the favorite raga for Manmatha, and what can be more favorite than Krishna? So I use that raga. So in the same 9.5, Krishna, when Krishna speaks, this is the tune that comes. Riga 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 sa 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 ga ri gaba 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 ni pa ni ri sa ni pa ni gaba gaba riga riga. So he adds very nice, very soothing raga to it, and that soothingness is dharma.
Yeah, you're one of the most creative people I've met. I'm telling you, I really love you.
Thank you.
Both of you. I met you first time, I met him second time. And you are one of those people who, whenever you have called, I have always replied instantly.
Yes.
Maybe after half an hour, 1 hour. But because my phone is always on silent, I don't pick up. But you have done amazing job. Is there any piece of music, maybe shlokas or this Gitas, something which you would like to sing in the end?
Which one? Oh yeah, this is the theme that we have taken from.
Theme is very nice.
धर्मे च अर्थे च कामे च मोक्षे च भरतर्षभा यदि हास्ति तदन्यत्र यनेहास्ति न तत्क्वचित्. This is the theme of the production. Re ga sa re pa ne pa re re ga sa re pa ne pa re dharme cha arthe cha kame cha mokshe cha. That's the theme of Mahabharata. Dharme cha arthe cha kame cha mokshe cha Bharatarshava yadi hasti tadanyatra yanne hasti na tatkvachit. Whatever exists in Mahabharata exists in the rest of the world. Whatever doesn't exist in Mahabharata doesn't exist anywhere else. This is the
That's
theme.
true. And what is the last dialogue of your film? Oh, sorry, सब film बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
So Krishna's last two shlokas. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam.
He speaks or he sings?
He sings.
How does it go?
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. He's saying, I am the answer to all your questions. Sarvadharman parityajya, leave all the confusions that you have. Mamekam sharanam vraja, come and submit unto myself. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I am going to release you from all the bondages. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto, don't think about anyone else. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah pariyupasate. The ones who think about me, the ones who have me in their heart. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. I will take care of their life. So the production ends with these two shlokas.
And that's what you leave the audience with. And so it's wonderful. I really love both of you, and I wish we had more time. But then I'm sure I'll get to see more of your shows. So next one you are doing is what?
We are currently working on multiple productions. One is a prequel to 18 Days, which is
18
called
Days.
Bha.
So that all the gambling and everything.
It will be brought. I mean, it is the early life of Krishna, which leads to Mahabharata, where you also have characters like Draupadi, and then we want to interpret Bhagavata and also the Mahabharata before Kurukshetra in a very different way. It's called Bha, just Bha, and this Bha has 28 meanings. So we want to
How?
Bha,
Bha.
just Bha.
Oh, good.
From Acharya Madhva's Yamaka Bharata, just there's this one shloka which is Bha, 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 Bha. That's the shloka. There are 28 meanings to this. So we thought we'll use
It
this.
comes for 28 times?
Yes.
And every Bha has a
time-
different meaning?
Yes, every Bha has a different meaning.
That should be a subject of a podcast next time. We'll do that. So all the best for that.
Yes, thank you.
And are you doing more shows of this?
In
Anywhere?
Mumbai, no, currently not in Mumbai.
Where?
But then we have an inquiry in Chennai.
Okay.
Yes, also Kolkata. So we might take this to Chennai and Kolkata.
Okay, so if you are in Chennai and Kolkata, if you get a chance, you must see 18 Days, Dusk of an Era. And it's based on 18 days of Kurukshetra, and one of the best performance on Mahabharata I have ever seen. I have seen many from my childhood. I mean, in India, there is no dearth of Mahabharata performances, but one of the greatest I have seen.
Thank you so
and
much.
I wish both of you all the best.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, thank you. You write S-H
SHARAT. No H after T. Yeah.
and you write,
BHARAT.
huh?
BHARAT.
Come. Flag, miniature flag of India. I'll tell you why it's valuable. Because it's made exact same specification, same weaving, same cloth, same everything. As per the original one. Very few people use this. And this is made by Karnataka Khadi Gram Udyog. So it is of some value to you. This is from our foundation, Ayurveda Foundation.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and then this is a book. Whatever is written in Gita or Indian texts or the Vedanta, basically Indian philosophy, I have converted that into very interesting small chapters so that everybody understands. It also has chapters from truth, creativity, what is this, what is fear. Also, what happens when you
Swing around.
in a garden, everything. So this is for both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.